What's up, people? I am back. Normally don't do videos on Saturdays, but I figured since I didn't do it yesterday because something came up, I would do today. We're gonna do Ginger Snaps Back, the beginning, which essentially it's a prequel about the ancestors of Bridget and Ginger, even though they're pretty much Bridget and Ginger, but they're ancestors. We'll just go with that. It's set in 19th century Canada. Yeah, 19th century Canada. And I gotta say, I thought it was a decent third movie. It's a little slow, like compared to the first two, but I do like the period piece setting of it. You know, it does go more traditional werewolf movie, especially when like they have to go to this town. Um, you have some decent characters. You have like this hunter character that was introduced. I thought he was decent. Um, and he finds them. So he finds them in the woods. They're being hunted by these creatures. Um, because they ended up getting lost in the Canadian wilderness. So this man called the Hunt, they just basically call him the Hunter, saves them, takes them to Fort Bailey where they take refuge, and essentially, werewolves start coming, and I think Ginger ends up getting bitten, and she starts getting infected, and then she has to and basically it's a big origin story, just like how they got that they basically have been inflicted with the lycanthropy since the beginning. That's essentially all this movie really is. I like that they do use the same actors. I think that's great. I like I'm always a big, if they do it right, a big sucker for like period pieces where they try to put the effort in. Um, Characters are okay. Like really, with these movies, you're only mainly watching for Bridget and Ginger. Or granted, Ginger isn't really the second one, but you know. And I think the werewolves look decent for like straight to DVD for like a straight. Because I think they're all straight to DVD, but or at least I mean maybe the first Ginger Snaps wasn't, but the last two were. And for straight to DVD, the werewolves look pretty good. And I thought Fort Bailey looked pretty good as a setting. Um, yeah, decent film. It's like I said, it is a little slow, but it gets going. And I like the dynamic between Bridget and Ginger, so it was cool having them together again. 'Cause I actually thought that was actually the thing I felt like was missing in the second one. While I like it, Bridget was basically by herself, and there was no Ginger, so it was cool seeing them back together. And yeah, the trailers, the sequels go more traditional werewolf film compared to the first one, but that's fine. I'm fine with that. So overall, I'd probably give this one like a 7. I'd recommend it. Watch all three in a row. They work. So yeah. Um, Tomorrow, what I got planned is I might do 2 videos, at least one, but I want to do two. I want to rant about this Escape from New York remake they're fucking doing. Because I heard that about the other day. I wanted to do it that day, but I already had a video set. But yeah, I kind of want to rant about it because it's like Escape. I'm a big John Carpenter fan. Y'all know. So, and that's one of my obviously besides Halloween and The Thing, Escape from New York is probably third for me, and the fact that they're gonna fucking remake it, so I might make a video about that, and then later, tomorrow, I will do a video about fine. I will get to. I was gonna do one about the '70s, but I couldn't think of straight up 10. I'm just gonna be straight up honest. 10 '70s albums. So what I'm gonna do is '80s. I'm gonna do best albums from the '80s, top 10 albums from the '80s tomorrow. So that'll be like my main video tomorrow. Because I do want to I've missed doing music related videos. It's been a little bit. So I want to get back to doing that. And then I want to do a rant. I'll probably try to do it like not in the morning, but like in during the day sometime. A rant about the evil. I don't know why the fuck I'm thinking Evil Dead. I meant to say Escape from New York. Escape from New York remake, which I think is gonna be, and it's gonna be made by the Scream 5 people. So it's like fuck. So I mean I don't want this anyway, but the Scream 5 people, yeah, no. This is gonna be shit. So I'm gonna talk about that tomorrow. And then top albums from the 80s. So that's my planned videos for tomorrow. But Ginger Snaps 3, we'll get started. Or Ginger Snaps Back. So normally each spring they kind of talk about this tradition of a party from the Hudson Bay travel, you know, to hunt, basically to hunt for pelts. But in 1815, no one returned, which was setting up like that werewolf god, which was cool. And then this is where we meet Bridget and Ginger. And I do like though, while they do play them the same way, I do like that they try to the actresses. Emily Perkins, I know she plays Bridget. I don't remember who plays Ginger, but I think they did a good job of like not. They didn't feel like they were just playing Ginger and Bridget from the first movie. They at least try to play them a little bit differently because, like, yeah, it's them in the 1800s, but let's actually have them play the characters a bit differently and not just they're playing them like as if it was like they were from the first movie. Because you got to understand it's time difference. The first movie's I guess technically supposed to be 2000, right? And then this is supposed to be like 1800s, so it'd be kind of weird to see them play like them as if it was like 2000. So it was cool that they try to switch it up. So they get lost with their horse in the Canadian wilderness. Find an abandoned camp. This is where they meet a Cree woman who tells them that they gotta kill a boy so they can prevent the sisters basically from killing each other. And then they're also being hunted by basically werewolves. You don't know what's hunting them, but they are. But they get saved by the hunter, who was actually a pretty cool character. I thought of the like characters that got introduced in this movie, I thought that he was pretty good. So he saves them, takes them to Fort Bailey, introduces them to the residents, and they want to seek passage east. So I think the thing about, I do feel like they tried with the set design, because that's like one thing of period pieces I also really like is the set design, where they try to make it look like you're in whatever decade you're supposed to be in. So I feel like they did a good job of making it look like you're in the 1800s. I thought even like the residents did a good job. They didn't feel like, you just felt like a bunch of modern people, but you with the 1800 just fucking backdrop. They actually tried. This is where we get the review. Yeah, the werewolves. Bridget, who got a wound from earlier, gets inspected. They want to see if she's a werewolf. I think, like, that's what I mean. This film's a bit slow. Is there's a lot more dialogue, and it's not like action heavy. Like, to be fair, none of these movies really are. I think the second one is probably the most. Like, there isn't just like werewolf fucking kills constantly. Um, so Ginger one night leaves her room, gets bitten by a weird boy who, I'll just spoil, he's a werewolf. And I like that the Ginger Snap sequels, while they do mainly sometimes try, especially this one, goes back to like a more traditional werewolf movie. I do like that it tries to maintain the way they do lycanthropy. They treat it like an actual disease. It's an actual disease. I like that. I like that it isn't just like no more. I love traditional werewolf movies where you have a person that gets bit, they turn into a werewolf, kill some people, and then they kind of turn back the next morning. I like that they didn't do that this time around. They treat lycanthropy like as almost a legit disease, you know. Um, James, the fort leader, confronts the sisters because the sisters want to leave. Um, while they argue, werewolves start attacking, killing the residents, which that was a cool scene. Pretty cool scene. Um, and like I mentioned, the werewolves look pretty good for the most. For like a, I think this one was straight to DVD. I don't think. Hold on, I'll look it up right now. This is right here. Yeah, it is straight to DVD. So it's like, for that, and or if it was a theatrical release, it's probably like a limited. I really, sorry, fuck, my light is speaking. But anyway, I really like that the werewolf they tried. Like, I dig the designs, and you had some solid kills. Um, Reverend Gilbert, he's like the weird, preacher. You gotta always, I mean, a lot of these horror movies, you gotta have like a weird fucking um, preacher guy. Acts like he's gonna help him, but he leads them basically to a room with a werewolf in it. Which I thought that was a pretty cool scene, and the hunter comes to save him. And I like too, they didn't try to set up like a cringe, like, love thing with the hunter and one of the sisters. He just doing the right thing. Um, Ginger starts showing signs of um, like basically becoming a werewolf. Like her nose starts to bleed, and that's like one of the signs. Um, we find out the boy who bit Ginger's name is Jeffrey, who's Wallace's son. Jeffrey tries to attack her, but unsuccessful. He escapes and kills a man. Um, and then Ginger gets framed for it, and then she gets held captive. Sorry if I'm just kind of going through it quickly. It's just this movie just kind of is very straightforward, Um, Ginger escapes and then tries. She wants to kill Jeffrey basically to to prove that he's hold on. We find out too that the sisters, because the hunter goes to like a Cree, seer, like goes to a Cree seer, and she tells him that the sisters actually had been prophesized to show up a while ago, and they would essentially decide the werewolf bloodline, and because this is where because so far right now it's only Ginger who's the werewolf right now. She has the lycanthropy, and Ginger doesn't have not Ginger. Bridget doesn't have that yet. And I thought like of the two, I honestly I've kind of even in the original I liked. I mean I like Emily Perkins, but I really loved Ginger's performance. So it was cool having her back in a full film again. Compared to the, I mean, I like the second one, but I felt like she was missing. Like she was in it like for like a second. Because Bridget would see her like in visions and shit. But it's like I think it's cool that she's back. Even though it's a little contrived. Oh, we have to go back in time because Bridget Ginger technically died in the first one. So it was cool having her back throughout the film, and her whole arc with the becoming a werewolf is up. And I like that they didn't just they could have easily just did the first one, but it's now set in with an 1800s backdrop. They actually try to do something different. Um, um, Ginger ends up seemingly Bridget kills Ginger seemingly, but it's not revealed that she didn't because it. But so the seer woman gets killed, and then they have to find Ginger. They make it seem like Ginger died, but she didn't. I'm just gonna spoil that part. The only thing I don't really like, and I understand it was the 1800s, so people were overly religious back then, to where, yeah, they would kill you. That it's just how it was. But I feel like it was a bit over the top, and it maybe could just be me retroactively look because this film came out like 2004, also like the second one. That it's like I feel like because nowadays like the crazy religious thing, character or villain or whatever is kind of overdone. So I felt like in this, it just was maybe me kind of retroactively looking at it from today because I'm just kind of tired of that theme in general. But because ultimately, now that I'm thinking about it, it does work because it was the 1800s. People, that's how it was, So it wasn't that far off. I mean, you had the Salem witch trials, so it makes yeah. I'll take that back now that I think about it. So Bridget, they think she did the murder, so um, James tries to take on Ginger because Ginger basically comes to save her. And I'll admit this scene was cool when she brings in like the other werewolves to show up. Um, and just we get a final battle. And initially the hunt, I'll admit his death was pretty sad because they make it seem like because he urges Bridget to kill, Ginger, but she ends up killing him, and it's like, damn, dude, like, and it's understanding. Ultimately, Ginger is her sister, so it's like blood, but it's still a little sad because it's like I actually liked that character throughout the film. It was cool every time they would cut to him, so to see him go out like this was pretty sad. So yeah, he gets killed, and now that the prophecy broke, and they run away together. Kind of like similar to the first movie, they cut each other. They cut their hands, hold it. And yeah, basically, kind of setting up the first movie. Overall, I really like Ginger Snaps Back at the beginning. It's a decent third film, and I know I'm not as detailed with the review this time around. It's just like it's good. It's one of those movies where I dug the werewolf design. I love that final act where Ginger brings in like the other fucking werewolves to come in and just fuck everything up. That was pretty cool. Hunter's death was pretty sad. I actually like that character, and I like though they didn't do the whole. They could have set up him and Bridget as a couple, and they didn't do that. He just genuinely wanted to help her. I thought the town they did a good job with the town. Because I was gonna bring it up as a criticism, but then like I changed my mind. It makes way more sense that this is the 1800s. The crazy religious people were a thing. Not downing religious people or anything. Just saying. And I think they work as characters. Granted, the Reverend was a bit over the top. I'll admit, but he's probably the only one where I'm like, okay, you're trying too hard. But I thought it was overall a good film. It is a little slow, but I think it's a decent third film. I like that they try to, continue the theme of treating lycanthropy as like an actual disease. I really like that. Ginger and Bridget have great chemistry just as ever. I thought their chemistry was pretty good. They felt like legit sisters. And yeah, the probably 7 out of 10 film. The first one's like an 8 or 9, and I would probably give the second one I'll give the first one a 9. The second one I give like an 8. This one would be about a 7. I think I think there could have been a little bit more action, not action, but like just something, because I do feel like it is a little slow for like an hour and a half film. But minus that, I do think it tries. They try to maintain that tone from the first few films. So yeah, I definitely recommend this one. You can watch Ginger Snaps, Ginger Snaps 2 or Unleashed, and then this one like back to back, and you're fine. And I would recommend it. They're pretty short movies, so you can probably get through the 3 of them pretty quick within like 3 hours. So, or 3.5 hours maybe. But yeah, definitely. Sorry, pretty good film. But tomorrow I will be doing a rant, like I mentioned, about the evil. Why the fuck I keep saying Evil Dead? Escape from New York reboot, and my God, I'm gonna probably go off because I really love Escape from New York. It's like, and I like Escape from LA too, but like Escape from New York was such a great John Carpenter film, and just why does it need to be rebooted or remade? You would be better off just Kurt Russell's still around and he still does movies. And Carpenter's still around. I'm not, I'm fine with just 2 films, but if you wanted to do another one, just do another escape film with Kurt Russell. No one is gonna be able to fill the shoes of Kurt Russell, a Snake. I just don't think it could happen. So I'll be talking about that tomorrow, and then I'll be doing my list, my favorite albums from the '80s. I'll spoil one of them because I've said this a while ago when I did my music videos that probably my favorite album of all time, or one of them, is Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. So I'll just spoil that. That's my number 1. But I'll be going to the other 9 tomorrow. Can't wait to do that. I've been wanting to get back to doing more music related videos. I love movies, but I also really love music. So it'd be kind of cool to get back to doing those. Bands I love. I wanted to do it this week. I just couldn't squeeze it in. That's what she said, this week. So I'm thinking sometime this coming week I'll try to get it in. So, but besides that, Ginger Snaps Back's pretty good. So heavy recommend. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. And cheers and peace out. But as usual, fuck Joe Biden, fuck Kamala Harris. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.